This is how you survive trucking in 2024, and this is what's worked for me. If you don't know me already, my name is Kobe, and I've been building my box truck business for the last 3 years. And over the last year, we've grossed $1.2 million in gross revenue. So yeah, I kind of know what I'm talking about. The first tip I learned to survive in this business is finding brokers that do not work and operate on a load board. When you get started in this business, everyone is operating off DAT, load board, or truck stop load board. That's how you get started, and you kind of can maintain on that. But to really succeed in business, you have to get away from that because that's the last percentage of freight that people are hauling. So you have to find brokers that don't operate in that system. What it means to find brokers that don't work on the load board is essentially basically brokers that contact you first directly for the work. Instead of posting it in last minute trying to find somebody to haul it, they'll email you or call you to see if you have a truck available in that area to find that work. Now, of course, it has to start somewhere, and brokers that don't operate on the load board, they might post loads here and there, but that's not their main way of getting freight delivered and picked up. So you may find a broker from the load board first, but after that, you want to get on their email list and their call list. You want to exchange information with them, build that relationship and rapport with them to where they're calling you, hey, Kobe, do you have a truck today? Do you have a truck tomorrow? Hey, I need a truck at this location by this date. Can you have one? Yes, yes, and yes. The reason why it's so important is because you're getting work that other people are not. And that's the biggest tip I can give, because the work that everyone else is getting is going to be the saturated work. And that's why people say trucking or box trucking can be oversaturated. It's not. It's really not. These loads I have right here, these are all loads I have booked in the next week and a half, or Raycons for the next 2 weeks. So this load, $3,200. This load is the round trip load, $3,100. This load was $2,800. This load was $1,700 going to Cali. This load is next Monday for $3,182 going to Colorado. This is all within the span of 2 weeks. This is June 3rd. June 5th, we just picked this up, May 24th, June 12th, June 18th, June 10th, May 31st. So these loads, everyone cannot access. And it took me some time to get to this point, but this is the reason why I'm succeeding. This is the reason why I don't have to look for work. This is the reason why my trucks are always busy and they have a schedule for them. Most people cannot build schedules. The ways to obtain direct work with these brokers and or shippers, in my case, I have more information on that in my blueprint that you can access down below. If you get my step-by-step blueprint, I'm gonna have way more information on that. I would say the second most important thing in this business is having a mobile mechanic that's reliable and that knows what he's doing. A lot of mechanics, might say they know how to do this, they know how to do that. A lot of times they may overcharge because they're coming to you, or they can't actually do anything. You want to find a mechanic that can do everything in this business, that can not just oil change your truck, but they can replace injectors if they need to. They can do a engine rebuild if you really needed to. Of course, that takes a lot of time, but replace your turbo in an hour or 2 hours. These are things that you want to be able to have someone that can do that way, that your truck isn't just going to the shop and the shop has us, they're backed up for a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever the case, and you're trying to get something done. Everyone knows if your truck isn't moving, if it's in the shop, you're not making no money because you still have bills to pay. Your drivers are sitting, they're not making no money. They don't want to be sitting while your truck's sitting in the shop for a month at a time. They got their family fees. So I say all that to say, you gotta have a mechanic that can do these things, that can fix your truck in quick time and can get you back moving, because time is money. I've went through probably 3 mobile mechanics at this point. The first one I had, he was really good at what he did, but he used to sometimes complain about coming out to my area that I was in. He was on the north side, I was in the south. Sometimes we couldn't connect, but also he would overcharge me a lot, and I didn't know that at the time. He was charging me $300 just to come out and see my truck. So before he did anything, it was $300. Now, obviously I know that's a lot. I didn't want to spend my time at Speco or just another shop that can get stuff done. I didn't want to wait there hours. So, I thought the convenience part of it was worth it. But at the end of the day, I learned my lesson with that. But still, he was overcharging me with things, and I had to be able to find another one at a different point, which I did. I have a great mechanic now. The second one, he would come out, but he didn't work weekends. And that's obviously a problem because this business is a 7-day-a-week, 365 business. So you need somebody that's available, reliable, and knows what he's doing, that can get things done, like I said, in a quick time, that can, make you a priority and that is in your area, not 100 miles away and things like that. And you want to build a relationship with that mechanic because he's going to know your truck or your trucks. He's working on these trucks consistently. So if you have something that you think you want to get looked at and he can look at it, and maybe nothing needs to be fixed at a certain time, but he'll have it in his memory that, hey, that tensioner looked like it was shaking a little bit too much, and down the line, you can get that fixed when the time comes. The third biggest tip I can give you to survive in this business is is knowing your numbers. That's one of the main things I can tell you. There's a thing called cost per mile, so CPM. It's the number that allows you to operate your truck on a daily basis. So if you take a load, if a broker calls me and says, hey, I need a load from Vegas to Highland, California. I know Highland, California is about 230 miles from here, maybe 250. But if you should only try to pay me $500, that's not a load I would take, especially if I have a driver in that truck. I'm gonna lose money on that load because I know my truck note cost me this much, my insurance cost me this much, my driver is gonna cost me this much, whether it's per mile or percentage. So I have to know, hey, is that load something that I'll make money on, or is it not? Is it worth my time at the end of the day? So CPM is a huge thing because a lot of people loads just because they think they have money coming from it. But you might touch $500 after that, but you probably spent $503 after you got done paying everything. That goes into, in addition with going to bad areas, you know, going to areas that are bad for freight. If I'm spending money going to an area, maybe my rate per mile on that load was a little higher, my RPM, but coming out, I'm gonna get, let's say $1 a mile, for example. Was that first load worth it for me? Probably not. My rate per mile for that average just went a lot down. And if it went that much down, you know, you gotta make sure it's still covering your CPMs. Knowing your numbers is one of the main things in this business. Is how people stay in the business, and you want to operate at surplus. You know, you never want to be operating in the negative. You have to know how much it's going to cost you to run your business. So yeah, everything that's included in the CPM, truck notes if you have one, insurance as everyone has one, fuel, cost for the driver, how much you're paying them, but also if you have a load board that you're paying for, if you are doing consistent truck washes, hotels, all these things are added within that CPM. And some of them you want to, you know, they're going to be a variable cost, but you want to get that down as best as you can. But at the end of the day, you have to know your CPM to know which loads are good loads to take and which ones are not. And you have to be able to tell brokers no when you're asking for loads that, you know, aren't worth their time and will lose you money essentially. Trucking is something that maybe isn't for everybody, but for those that are getting into this business, that know how to make money in this business, it's going to feel like surviving at certain points. You're going to be working and times may be tough, rates may be bad, you might go to bad areas, your truck may have some issues, but it's gonna feel like surviving for some time. But their survival mentality is gonna turn into a flourishing mentality and an abundance mentality. That's how you'll end up scaling and getting to a point where you own your trucks outright and you're building and actually making and saving a lot of money. Trucking, and specifically box trucks, has been something that's been very rewarding for me. I've been able to take trips. I've been able to have just money at all times. It's not something I could have said before. I've been able to build wealth. I've been able to invest money that I made, and I've been able to reinvest in my business, help out family and friends. I had college aspirations before, now I'm a trucking owner, and I do a lot of things that I never thought I'd be able to do. I'm able to buy whatever I want, but it didn't always start that way. Time and experience had got me there, but this business is rewarding if you spend time in it. Again, my name is Kobe. Make sure you subscribe to my page. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at KKing Trucking. I'm posting a lot of content. You know, now that we're here, I'm trying to give game on all this stuff. I'm trying to really teach and show people that you don't have to just do the things that everyone is saying that you have to do, rent trucks and, you know, just work off DAT and partial. There's other ways to work in this business and build a business that you can scale, and that at some point, you know, you can be out of the truck and doing other things with your time and money. Make sure you follow me and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe.